Hi guys, more on Salto clay. I'm going to be showing you how to make a little itty bitty owl just like this. Ooh, light. Light's horrible in the dark. That one. Here's another example. And this is the example of a kindergartner. They're adorable. Once you bake them, you can paint them. I can do a lesson or a little video on how to paint them. Then you can put a hook on the back and you can hang them anywhere. They're awesome. All right, so if you missed how to make Salto clay, I want you to watch the video that has the Salto tiles because I have a little video on that, but I will put the recipe up for you. I'll do that right now. All right, so this is Salto clay that I made last week. I put it in a little Ziploc bag, put it in the refrigerator. It's freezing right now. You could always do that. I suggest using it within about a week. But when you pull it out, it's probably going to be extra sticky, so we're going to need more flour. Always work on a surface that you can put right in the oven. This is parchment paper. The parchment paper can go directly in the oven. I can even cut around the shape if I need to make it smaller. You can work right in stoneware. But what you don't want to do is work on plastic or, heaven forbid, a tablecloth, because you don't want to risk your clay getting stuck and also moving it around a lot and pulling it up. It's going to change the way it looks. So we just want to let it be put until it dries, and then it dries out even more in the oven. So I've got this, I have extra flour, and then I have some texture tools nearby. We can talk about that in a minute as we start to texture. All right, so either make your clay or pull it out of a bag like me. This is pretty good. I don't know, this is looking really good actually. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this in half. I don't need that much. What I really want to do is make kind of like a ball. So I'm going to roll my hands together. A lot of times I tell people just to toss it back and forth between your hands. You want to get a nice round sphere. All right, then you're going to take some flour. You're going to put it on top of whatever surface you're working on. You're going to lay it flat. And then you're very slowly and gently going to push it out. I can't believe this didn't get that moist. I'm shocked, actually. Sometimes when we pull it out of the bag, it's soaking wet. And that might be what it is for you if you're using clay you've already made. Now, if you put enough flour underneath it, you'll be able to lift it up very nicely. And if you don't, it'll be a little harder. All right. I'm going to keep pressing and pressing and pressing, just inching it out. My fingerprints are everywhere. That's kind of fun. All right, so this is step number 1. Now, if we were using stoneware, we'd be pulling it out in this, or dropping it, and this would be a slab. I have a little piece under here. But we can't do that with clay, or Salto clay, excuse me. So here we go. Step number 1 is complete. Now, before we move on to step number 2, I want you to get a little itty bitty cup of water. So little. I'm actually only going to use the cap of some soda bottle, and I'm going to fill it with water to show you that's all the water that I need. So go ahead and get your water, and I'll be right back. All right, here's my water. That's all the water I'll need. All we're going to do is we're going to dip our finger in, the tip of our finger, and that's what we're going to use to put in any extra parts that we want. So in order to make our owl, we have to fold some edges over. But before we do, I thought it might be really fun to add some textures first. So I'm going to take anything in my home, with permission, that I can make a pattern with or a texture with. So this is actually a traditional ceramic tool that you would use with stoneware. Stoneware is clay that you put in a kiln. This is from my polymer clay box. This is an old dentist tool. These are my favorite. This is a tool I love using. This is clearly bubbles, but I like using that side. You can use a pencil, you can use a pen. This is for knitting. I always end up using that for clay as well. Anything. Honestly, some of my favorite things to use are some old earrings. Earrings that I've lost the match to. You could use rings to do imprints. I wish I had some of that stuff up here, but I don't. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take something very simple. And all in the middle, let's do it this way. I'm going to put a pattern and a texture. I'm not going to rub it out because this is soft. Ooh. So I'm going to refrain from actually trying to touch it. I'm just adding a nice texture right up the middle. And I don't think I told you, but I'm going to be working upside down, so you don't have to do this upside down. Do it right side up for you. I just want you to be able to see it. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to take my two sides, I'm going to fold them over. Now, right now, they're just gonna come back undone. So I'm gonna take a little bit of water, put it underneath my flap, and press down. A little bit of water underneath my flap, and you press down. Now I'm going to take the rest of my water, I'm just going to smooth out the edge. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the top, we're going to fold it down for our little head. But we have to add the water first. So we're going to take the water, put it on the sides. I'm going to put some down in the middle. And here we go. I have some extra flour. I'm going to move that around. And then I'm going to take my water and just smooth it out. Now there are so many choices with what we can do with our owl. And don't feel overwhelmed with making the perfect choice because first of all, there are no perfect choices. And second of all, everything that we're going to do to this is going to be fantastic. My husband always says choices like that is like ice cream. Picking a flavor of ice cream. There is no bad choice. It's all awesome. So whatever you do, I want you to go for it and feel good about it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch ears. So I'm going to take the ends, I'm going to pinch it up. I'm going to move this a little so you guys can see. I'm going to lift them up. But I'm not going to pick them up. I'm going to lift up my parchment paper. So that's my owl so far. I've pinched ears up. Put that down more. All right, now I'm going to put on some eyes. So I've got some extra clay here. I'm going to make 2 small spheres for his eyes. One eye, 2 eyes. I can lay them down where I think his eyes should go and push them down. Of course, I didn't add any water underneath, so I'm going to pick it up and put a little drop in. You don't want your guys soaking wet. I don't think owls even like being wet. All right, now I'm going to take this tool. This tool is round. If you don't have a tool like this, you can use a pencil. The back of a pencil, anything, the back of a paintbrush. First, I'm going to dip it in some flour because I don't want my tool to stick to my owl. I'm going to drop it in and twist. Drop it in and twist, and this is going to push my clay together even more. All right, I'm going to hold them up so you can see because I don't have cool cameras. Right like that. All right, now I'm going to do a nose. I'm going to take another chunk. I'm going to turn it into a little cylinder probably. Pinch the end. I can push one end back. Make any shape I want. I'm going to add some water, of course. Push it down. It's not a perfect nose, but I'm not going to cry about it because I think my owl is awesome. And I'm going to take my tool and give him some nostrils. You can do that with the tip of a pencil if you don't have anything else. I don't even think they're even, but it's okay. He deserves to be here. Let me lift it up and show it to you. All right, and then you can spend the rest of the time adding more textures. So, let's see. I could push in, give him some eyelashes. That's a cute little lady. I could do diagonal lines. I kind of like that. And for balance, I'm going to do it on the other side. Okay, now just for fun, I'm going to use this, my bubble. I'm going to push in some pattern designs over here. Just subtle. And that is as complicated as it has to be, but you could keep adding things all day. This is our amazing owl. Now, when you are finished, you can let it dry out a little bit. You bake it at 200 degrees for 1 to 2 hours or until it's dry. The bottom might be a little doughy. You could flip it over and dry that out, but sometimes the bottom is just extra doughy, and that's okay. All right. Thanks for doing art with me, and I will see you next time.